Welcome to Sweethearts or Rivals podcast number 2.
Number 2.
I'm Justin.
I'm Charla.
How you doing?
Good.
Excellent. We still don't really have a format for these, so if you have any suggestions for format, things we should be doing, questions you'd like us to answer, or just any kind of stuff like that, please feel free to send such words of wisdom to sweetheartsorrivals@gmail.com.
Yep.
And we will take your suggestions into consideration.
It makes it sound so formal, Justin.
There you go.
And also, I don't know if you just stumbled upon this in the podcast, but we have a YouTube channel too.
Yes.
Where we do playthroughs and kind of overviews. And sometimes we give our opinion on games.
Yep.
Like reviews.
And that's youtube.com/sweetheartsorrivals.
Right.
Yep.
So, we've been playing some games this
Yes, we
summer. And we just want to run down a list. We had a couple of game days.
Yep.
One, we went to a friend's house and had some games.
Yep.
And the very first one we played, each of us had never played it before.
Nope, never played this game. Timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Timeline has a whole bunch of different versions, I guess you could call them.
Yep. Versions or themes.
Or yeah.
Yep. Focuses.
Did you know anything about Timeline before we played it?
I had heard of it. I had seen it. I had heard it mentioned. I kind of knew it had something to do with inventions and when they were invented, or when things were invented.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I knew about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
And I kind of didn't have any interest whatsoever ever in playing this game.
Not really. I grew up with my parents playing a lot of Trivial Pursuit.
Right.
And it kind of struck me as something similar.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's kind of a trivia, like a variation on the trivia.
Kind of, yeah. But for me, I found it was kind of more like a deduction game.
True.
Like, I found it really interesting to try to think, oh, do I think this thing is older than that thing or newer than that thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of...
And that's basically what it was.
Yeah, I found it kind of interesting.
It was interesting, but I didn't enjoy it.
No, not at all.
No, it still just struck me as that trivia type thing. Like, do you know something? And like, I don't know. It doesn't strike board games that are based off of you're gonna do well if you know stuff. Mm-hmm. Aren't fun for me.
Okay.
I can't gain skill by playing that game over and over again unless I take out a history book and read it.
That's right.
Yeah, so for me, that's not that cool.
But I don't see that I would need to gain skill to have fun playing that game.
No?
No, it's like a guessing game.
No, well, I guess,
it's like, oh, and then you laugh at, like, what is older than...
There's a couple of things that were interesting and like, oh, wow, I didn't know it was that was invented that long ago. That's kind of cool. But not enough of them for me to enjoy it. No. Not my favorite game.
No. Would you ever want to try the movie and music one?
Yes. I would be probably decent at the movie one, and I would be horrible at the music one.
No, but it's a combination.
I know. So that's okay, because the movie ones that could come out, I would probably be okay at.
Actually, I took a peek. I think they had it at the Boardroom Game Cafe when we were there.
Nice.
And I took a peek in the tin, and like some of the really old ones are in like black and white.
Yeah.
That would be helpful.
That's kind of cool.
It's like cheating.
Yep. It's hints.
Yeah.
So Timeline.
It was interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll play it again.
Yeah. Then we took out Lanterns.
Yes.
And we played that, and that was kind of cool because there was 5 of us, and it only plays 4. So instead of playing, I just kind of...
You were the banker.
Yeah, I emceed it.
Yeah.
And
that was really helpful, actually.
Yeah, it was, because it is... When we play it and I'm actually playing the game, there's always someone who ends up doing that anyway. Mm-hmm. This way, everyone just got to focus on strategy, and I would just pass out what they were getting. Yeah. Which was kind of cool.
Yeah, and you could keep track of, like, okay, so you went first, so this is the order in which everything gets distributed. And yeah.
And it was fun to watch Lanterns, which was kind of neat. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I've played Lanterns a couple times now.
I think that was the first time I actually did good at Lanterns.
Yeah?
Because I wasn't playing against you.
Nice. Yeah. And it was It was neater as like more than 2 people.
Yes.
Like I think lanterns worked better with more people.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's more to think about when you're placing a card, because instead of just worrying about the orientation to me and you, is the orientation to me and like 3 other players.
See, for more this always happens with me in a game like this. When there's more players, I worry less about what I'm giving other people.
Yeah.
And I focus more on what I'm gaining.
Oh, nice.
Because it's 3 people to keep track of.
Yeah.
I don't have time for that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'd rather just focus that I'm getting what I need to do what I want.
Gotcha.
Rather than trying to block you.
And it's funny because there was a lot of moves where I was like, that was good placement because now you get this and these 3 people get nothing.
I didn't do a lot like that.
Everybody did several of those.
Something, yeah.
Everybody did several of those.
But not always on purpose.
Yeah, maybe it was a fluke.
Some of them were probably on purpose.
Yeah, maybe.
Not all of them.
But it was neat. It's a good little quick game.
And we like it. It's in our collection.
Yeah, and I think it's going to stay there for quite some time.
Yep.
Then there was a whole bunch of us.
Yeah, how many were there? There was like 2, 3, 4, 5. There were 6 players.
Yep.
So we had a 6-player 7 Wonders game.
Yeah. And I've had games of 7 Wonders in the past that were very, very large that did not work because certain resources all kind of got stuck in one section of the table, and everyone that was nowhere near that 1 or 2 players had no access to them whatsoever.
Right.
And then everything just went downhill from there. But I think this only happened once or twice. And I've had more games with more players that everything seemed to just kind of spread out evenly. So that was interesting. I thought for a while there, because I think there was 2 games back to back where things just didn't work. Where I thought 7 Wonders with lots of players is broken. But it's not. It was just a fluke.
Yeah. 2 flukes in a row.
Yeah. So that was nice. Where this game worked well.
It did. And I found it really interesting to play with so many players. Because, man, to get that hand of cards back.
Yeah.
That had something really good in it. Like, there weren't high chances that you were going to be getting the cards you wanted to.
No.
Like, I think from now on, when I play in a big 7 Wonders game, I'm going to go all out war. Because not really a lot of people go for it because they don't want to be too aggressive.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of points in it if you can.
There is, yes.
Be the one.
But you don't want to go and do that and nothing else.
No. I would have to have a backup as well.
Because I've seen people do that. I saw that when I was playing it with the board game club at school. I've seen kids who looked at the fact that there was aggression and war and think, I'm just going to be the best at war. And then 2 of them sitting next to each other do nothing but try to outwar each other.
Yeah.
And they get just cleaned by everyone else.
But I found in the game we played on game night, the minute someone got a science card, everyone was like, oh, they're going for science. Keep all the science away from them.
Yeah.
Like, there was no chance in getting any sets of science.
Yeah. No, that was tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was fun. I really enjoy 7 Wonders. And I don't need to play it, like, constantly, but when it comes out, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's just as good as it was, like, the first few times we played it.
Yeah.
And it's good and easy. It's easy to teach. And
I really I love drafting. Drafting's awesome. It is really easy to teach. The iconography, if you're not used to it, that can be a little overwhelming at first.
At first, yeah.
But usually by halfway through the game, you're starting to pick it up.
But the back of the rule book has really good.
Yes.
It's organized so well. Like, you just have to glance for it, and then it explains it really good.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I know with 7 Wonders for us, we had the Leaders and the Cities expansion, plus the extra boards, and we did all that. And I was basically looking forward to constantly expanding and making this game bigger and bigger and bigger. But in the last
I don't think it needs to be bigger.
No, in the last 6 months or so, I've kind of done this little bit of a backtrack where I'm more interested in our games being quick and easy to get out on the table and get done and played and enjoyed and then moved on to something else. So I've taken everything from Leaders out, and I have no interest in putting it back in. And there's another expansion, Babel, that when I first heard of it, I was just like, oh, I can't wait to get that. And now I'm not really that interested in getting it. And I think it's because the way we have it now, that's all it needs to be.
Yep.
Yeah. So, that was 7 Wonders.
Yep. And then that was our first game night we had.
Yep.
And then we had another huge game night.
Yes, we had a big old game night that we hosted, which was kind of cool.
Yep.
And we had a whole bunch of people come over so that we were actually in 2 separate groups playing different games.
Right. So it's the first game you played.
The first game that I played was First Sparks. And the reason we ended up playing First Sparks is because a friend of ours had brought over Power Grid for us to play.
That's right.
A while ago.
And they wanted to try First Sparks.
Yeah, they wanted to see what the difference was, so we played. And I love First Sparks. Awesome game. I really enjoy it. And I enjoy it more than Power Grid. And one of the reasons why is because...
And meatballs.
No. That's nice. But that's not the reason why.
I like the anime meatballs.
They are pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think the biggest part or the biggest difference is the auction for the technology. Because in Power Grid, there's an actual auction where you have to bid for stuff.
That's right.
And
yeah.
I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan of auctions. They have to be very unique in some way to make them interesting, but just a straight out auction is like, I don't know, I don't like it. It's not fun.
Yeah.
So Power Grid, there's that auction. And if you're just like, okay, forget this, I want that card and I'm just going to pay through the nose for it, and then you just shot yourself in the foot.
Right.
And it's just, I don't know, I don't find that enjoyable. Whereas First Sparks, there's no auction. The cost of the card is the cost of the card. Where it gets tricky is it's the first player's job to offer a card up for bid. Mm-hmm. And it's the last player's choice on whether they take it or not. And then if they say no, it's the next to last player who says yes or no. And then it's the next player who says yes or no. And if nobody takes it, the first player has to take it. So instead of bidding money as the big mechanism, deduction kind of thing that causes tension, it's not whether how much money you're going to spend, it's just, am I going to be the first player and how do I get the thing I want?
Right.
Which I just love. Yeah,
it is. It's a little bit of mind games there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're trying to guess what other people want. Like, should I try to outplay them and like just pick the thing I want first?
Yeah.
And go for it, or wait until I've thinned out the crowd a little bit, and they all each have, someone over there took that really yucky berry basket, and someone over there took that really poorly made fishing pole. But I really want this spear to kill the bears with it. Yeah.
And then there's the technology that is currently available. And then there's another level of technology that will be coming, like will be shifting down, but it currently is unavailable. So you can be trying to manipulate it so somebody will buy something and it will shift the market so that that card that you can't get right now becomes available.
Yeah.
And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Because other players could have their eye on the same card.
Yeah. And I really love that. It's such a great little mechanism of mind games without it being... how much is people willing to bid for this? And am I willing to bid more? Which is, for me, not fun. Yeah. So, it was interesting. We played. I barely won.
Barely won.
Yeah, it was like just so close. And there's a lot of timing involved in First Sparks. You don't want to be the first player, so that means you can't be in the lead. And you've got to hold back just enough so that you can make a sudden rush to win.
To the end, yeah.
Without getting left behind, because if you're left behind, it's too hard to catch up.
Right.
And our friend Julian, who wanted to play because he has Power Grid, he got fire very early on, and so he didn't
His food didn't have to rot.
Yeah. He was able to stockpile massive amounts of food. Mm-hmm. And he made the big charge, and he made it one round too early.
See, I didn't play that game because I was at the other table.
Yeah.
And I had to be like the other game guru because we had 2 tables that night.
Yeah. So it was interesting, and when we were done, Julian said that was really cool, and his comment was that it seemed like it was a cleaner version of Power Grid, that it was what's the word when you strip away stuff and make it
streamlined.
Yeah, streamlined.
Yeah.
He said it was more streamlined.
Yeah.
Which
and see, we got it because it was cuter.
Yeah, and it was cavemen. It was cavemen. It was an interesting theme.
Not superficially, but it just looked nicer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the modular board.
And it was newer. Yeah, and a modular board.
Yeah.
Always. Yeah.
And I do really like the theme. It's a theme where you're a clan of cavemen trying to spread across the land.
It's true. I would rather have a theme like that than, I'm a power company.
Yeah. So that was interesting. I love the game. I can't ever see that one leaving our collection.
No.
And I like it much better than Power Grid.
So while you were playing for Sparks, my table is playing Hanabi.
Oh yeah.
Which is a cool game.
Yes, I like it.
I like it a lot.
Yep.
It's the game where you hold your cards so that everyone else can see them, and you can either on your turn give someone a clue to the cards that they're holding.
Using very specific rules.
Right. You're only allowed to tell them if like three of your cards are ones and it's those 3 cards.
Yeah.
Or you can say 2 of those 2 cards you have there are blue.
Yeah.
That's all you can say.
Very, very tricky communication in Hanabi.
It is, because it's hard not to cheat, because we had a 3-player game and I was playing with 2 kind of newer players, and to actually give advice to them on the clues they should be giving was kind of like cheating.
Yeah.
Because
Hanabi is definitely, because it's a cooperative game, so you're trying to work together.
Yeah.
But you're bound by all these communication rules. And the first several games of Hanabi are basically a learning curve of learning how to play without unintentionally cheating like crazy.
Exactly. But it is fun because there are just times that you sometimes don't have enough clues to tell that player, you've got a 5. Don't throw away your 5 because it's the only 5 in the game. And then it comes to a point they know nothing about their cards and they're like, well, I haven't heard anything about that card there. I'm guessing I'm going to throw away that 5.
Yeah.
And it's gone.
Yeah.
Cool. I kind of enjoy it quite a bit.
Yeah.
And the players that I played with, they enjoyed it too. It's the first time one of them had ever played it. So, yeah.
I've actually brought this not so much to a board game club at school, but I actually wrote a English unit. Communications unit based around Hanabi and learning how to communicate with these very specific rules, and the kids have always really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
because
it would make a good unit. Yeah,
so that was cool.
And the other game we played while you guys were playing for Sparks was just a regular old game of Carcassonne. No expansions, no nothing, just straight up Carcassonne.
Nice.
And we got into a huge war. Me and Sean did. Over this, a massive town.
Oh, okay.
And we were trying to out-meeple each other on this town.
Yeah.
He got it.
Oh.
And he had a super farm too. He ended up winning.
Yeah.
And I was so focused my meeples on this town, I didn't get any meeples down for farms.
Oh, okay.
I was dead last.
Wow.
In Carcassonne.
I find that happens a lot. If you try to be too like passive aggressive, sneaking in on other people's territory, you get into those wars. And if you can stay out of that while 2 players are focused on it, you can gain a lot of points because they're too busy messing with each other.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times when I find that happening, I'll bow out and be like, you know what, I'm not going to waste all my meeples.
Well, it's just I had him and then he wasn't having it, so he got bit back in on it, and I'm like, no, I can do it. I know I can. And there was this one point, because we actually did have the wild cards that you can use.
Okay,
where are they called? The
I think they're Abbeys.
Abbeys?
Yeah.
And there was one point where I could have just put a whole stop to it, because there was one certain tile we were all waiting for.
Yeah.
And I should have just done it.
And that blocks it all off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I could have at least got a few points for 2 of my random meeples anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I was just too stubborn. He was too stubborn. He ended up winning out on it.
That's funny.
Yeah. So what'd you play next?
the next game that my group played after we were done First Sparks was a friend of mine brought over the Legendary Encounters Aliens game, which I'm a huge fan of Aliens. The Legendary system, I've never played it before, but it's similar enough to games we have played that I thought that'd be kind of neat. So he brought that over, he set it up, and it was awesome. There's definitely some strategy because you start off with a character with a special ability when you first start off.
And the characters are all from the movie, right?
Sort of. They're not really so much like a specific character from the movie, but they're a character type. Like I was the mercenary.
Oh.
And somebody was the medic. Somebody else was the synthetic. So they're not like the cards that you're drafting into your deck. Mm-hmm. Those are based off of characters from the movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but your starting character gives you specific special abilities, and it's like one card, so you don't think it's really going to affect your strategy that much, but it really does. So, for example, the Merc that I was playing, his special ability was he could use recruitment points, which is how you get more cards, but he could use them as attacks. So every now and then I'd get a great big mitt full of cards, and that one special card that would allow me to just use everything as attack. At the very beginning of the game, it was amazing because I could do some really good attacks. The problem was whenever that would happen, I would not use my recruitment points to get better cards. Mm-hmm. And by the end of the game, my deck sucked.
Right.
Yeah. And I didn't realize that at the time. I should have realized that very early.
Yeah, it would have been a balancing act.
Yeah.
Use some, 50-50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was very interesting that way. I also managed to spectacularly take 5 face huggers and survive them all.
That sounds terrible.
It was tricky. And then I died. And I think 2 of us died, and the other 2 managed to hold it together long enough to win the game.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. So my team won, but I was dead, so I guess I lost.
So it's semi-co-op then?
Yes. Well, it's sort of. The base game that we were playing is cooperative. Like, technically I won, because our team won. But there's player elimination.
Right.
Once you're used to that base system, it goes from player elimination to fully semi-cooperative, because you either win with the team or you die, and then you start playing an alien.
Oh, well, that would make it more interesting.
Yes, that would be awesome.
But I have no interest in playing a game about aliens from that movie, Aliens, with those facehuggers from Aliens.
It was awesome. I enjoyed it.
I like sci-fi, but I don't like horror sci-fi.
Yeah.
And because my view of those movies is not good, I don't want to play that game.
No?
No.
There's this very interesting thing on the player mat, and it's a series of locations, and it's basically just a sliding column. A card comes out face down from the alien deck, and it's the farthest location away. Mm-hmm. And then the next round, another one comes out, and it pushes the card down. So they get closer, and closer, and closer, and closer.
Yeah.
And you don't know what they are. And you're freaking out because you don't know what they are. And there's ways...
Is it ever something nice?
No.
They're always bad.
There are... Hidden within them, there are certain objective cards that you're trying to find.
But you never stumble upon a bonus or something.
Not really, no.
No.
And there's strategy to getting those cards to be revealed, so you know what's coming. Attacking them before they reach the end and pop out and start attacking you. It's very interesting. It's a very straightforward deck building, but in a very unique and thematic setup for aliens.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a fan of those movies,
yep,
and you like deck building card games,
then this is the game
for you.
That's
the game for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're coming out, I think it's releasing sometime soon, if not at Gen Con. And it is the exact same game, Legendary Encounters, but it's based off the Predators.
No, I don't want that one either.
So if you're a fan of all of those, the Aliens one,
I mean,
it comes with movie 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then you can just do a hodgepodge. And the Aliens one is the exact same thing with all the Aliens movies, or with all the Predators movies. And then apparently there'll be rules for you to mix them so you can have Aliens versus Predators.
There are going to be people out there that are going to have a heyday with that.
Yep.
But not this girl.
I will have a heyday with my friend JR.
Yeah.
Playing that game. So that was interesting. It was really fun.
I mean, I think I'd be more likely to I want to try the system, and there's that Marvel's one.
Yeah.
I mean, I could play the Aliens one, but
I wouldn't mind playing. I'd like to try the Legendary.
I would try the Legendary Marvel one for sure.
Yeah. I don't know if it would hold my interest that much because
there was a Guardian of the Galaxy pack for it.
No, that was for... maybe there was. I can't remember.
I mean...
But I don't know if it's going to hold my interest because of the theme. Because it's such a simple deck builder. Mm-hmm. Like Dominion, we could just play Dominion.
It's true.
Which isn't cooperative, which is... I like the fact that it was aliens and the way that they were coming at you, that's what really made the game awesome.
For you.
Yeah. So that is going to be a big driver of that.
I'm glad JR has it.
Yeah. All right. So while we were playing that, what did you guys play?
Play Mecha Koro.
Yay! I didn't have to play Mecha Koro.
And I played it. I had to teach it too.
Yeah.
Which I think I did okay.
Yeah.
It seemed to go smoothly.
Cool.
And we played it with the expansion, the Harbor expansion.
Nice.
And it had a real slow start though.
Yeah. Because
the cards that came out, the 10 or whatever, however many you get to choose from.
Yeah.
They did not work well together.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah. So hopefully the people that played it for the first time didn't have a horrible time because they did find it really slow at the beginning.
Yeah.
And a lot of the cards that came out were like in the double-digit numbers, which weren't useful.
Wonder if you should have like some kind of mulligan for that. Put out the starting set, look at it, and go, this is going to be such a slow start. We were mulliganing this.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's probably a good idea.
Good house
Or
rule.
even like shuffle the deck so that there's a few more lower cards at the top.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
And like
do stages.
Yeah, do stages maybe.
Nice.
Or not necessarily stages, but just make sure there's a little bit more lower number cards at the top and a little bit more higher number cards at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to look into that.
Interesting to play with someone who wasn't scared of using those purple cards.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that are kind of a little bit more in your face.
Yep.
Yeah, that was interesting because there were times when it's like, oh, I rolled it again. Everyone has to give me whatever. Yeah, that was interesting.
Nice.
But I like that one, even though it's kind of like not the gamerest game. I just find it light and fun.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, and you can still have a conversation with people when you're playing.
Right on.
Yeah.
Cool.
What'd you play after you played a legendary alien thing?
We needed something for 5 players, and we needed it to be not too long, and for some reason I just grabbed Mangrove Via. Mm-hmm. Because honestly I'd never played it with more than 2 people.
It's true.
Yeah.
You hadn't.
So we played a 5-player game of Mangrove Via. Which was very, very interesting because everyone was really jostling for position in the best possible positions. And there were some really surprising moves. Like at the very end when I was counting points, I was like, so this area, I get this. And people were like, whoa, whoa, you don't get that. I got that. And I would look and I was like, oh my God, you got that. When did you get that? Oh, I put a double hut in that one spot on the last round and I didn't even see it.
That's funny.
So a lot of like sneaking into position to take away the area control from several places.
Yeah.
And there was several players. It looked like it was between 2 players. Mm-hmm. They were kind of like we would count one area and one of them would go ahead and become first, and then we count another area and the other guy would hopscotch ahead to first.
Right. Yeah.
And they were just hopscotching back and forth.
Leapfrogging.
And it looked like I was way behind. But what I had done was I had put a whole bunch of pieces in one of the fenced off areas.
Right.
And it was the one that you take the number of huts you've built there and multiply it by the total number of huts.
Right.
So I had like 5 huts and there was like a total of like 7 huts built in there, and I just
you got 30
ton of points that just I jumped ahead. And I think even with that I only won by 1 point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they really enjoyed it. It was cool.
I really like that game.
Yeah.
Because it's area control, but it's not fighting over area control.
Yeah.
Like, you're not tug of warring, like, oh, this is mine. No, I just took it over.
Yeah, there's no way to take over someone else's area.
Which I like.
You just gotta get there first.
It's more of a puzzle.
Yeah.
And then it's like that grid, because you get area control in the rows and the columns.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a puzzle.
Yep.
And then the choosing your actions.
Mm-hmm.
What sort of mechanic is it again?
Action selection.
Action selection. How you get your actions is really cool too.
Yeah. And the very interesting thing was, like, we played it a lot as a 2-player game, and it works really well, which is surprising for area control.
Right.
It works just as well with 5 players. Doesn't take a whole lot longer. And what the big revelation playing Mangrove Via this time was just how important the 2 birds of paradise are.
Yeah, they would be.
Yeah, because the birds of paradise, there's only 2 of them, and there's 4 different kinds of land. So wherever the birds are, that's the only places, the only 2 you can build.
Land on,
and there was a lot of people that were taking that spot to control the birds. And it became a really, like, powerful thing. Because you were getting messed over just by not being able to, like, build for all
I imagine, because only so many cards... in a 5-player game, do as many cards come out as in a 2-player or more?
Yes, same amount.
Same amount?
Yep.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you could really, like... You could have land cards in your hand that aren't what the birds of paradise are calling for.
Yeah. And another thing, I remember hearing this a lot when we were kind of researching Mangrove Via about how the relics or the amulets are too powerful.
Right.
So I was a couple of steps up on the relic or the amulet path. So I was getting some more, but not a ton. The other 2 players, the ones that were kind of leapfrogging over each other, one of them had invested nothing in it, and the other one had invested a lot in it. So it was interesting how there were 3 different strategies in terms of the amulets, and we were all neck and neck.
Right.
So that was kind of interesting.
So in a 5-player game, it doesn't look like the amulets are too overpowered.
No, still powerful.
From the one
play.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. It was an observation.
Yeah.
And while we played that, you were playing?
I played Through the Ages.
Nice. I'm jealous.
Because we had this epic quest that we have not completed yet.
Nope.
And it's to play the top 10 board games on the boardgamegeek.com.
Yeah.
And that's one of the top ones.
Yeah.
It's a civilization building game.
Looks like Spreadsheet the board game.
It kind of does. It is not pretty.
No.
It's like the poor, neglected, I don't know what the right analogy is. Anyway, it's just...
Like every artist they ever, like, hired to make some kind of art for it, like, had some terrible, tragic accident.
No,
and so they just released it with no art.
They were too busy and, like, they just drew the stuff themselves.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't know what happened, but yeah, it's really an interesting game.
Yep.
It is fiddly, but I don't mind the fiddliness. There's all those little, I don't know what you call them, not beads, but the little wooden
markers.
They look like candies.
Yep.
And they are very fiddly, but I like it because, not that it's fiddly, I like the tactileness and how you can count them, and it's very visual. Because you're moving them up into your board, like, as your food, and then as, like, what you mine and stuff. And then that's what you're using to pay for your workers and to pay for your cards that you're building. And it's really interesting. And it kind of has a good escalation.
Nice.
And I'm really looking forward to playing it again.
Yeah. So Charlotte played it. Then she told me about it. And then we watched the video on it. And I had my interest piqued enough that when we were involved in a recent math trade, we traded for it, and we got it.
Yeah.
So I've been reading the rule book. Haven't played, but I've been reading the rule book. And I might have to take some notes. Like, have, like, a cheat.
What?
Yeah, because there's things
like... It's not that
like...
complicated.
Well, there's things like, okay, this kind of card you can take and place immediately at your board, as long as you don't have any others.
Oh, right.
There's these cards that you can put in your hand, but you can't use until next turn, and these cards that you can put in your hand and play right away.
But there is a player aid that's very useful.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So, yeah, not that it's overwhelming, but I can see myself, like, okay, the wonders, what do they do again?
Right. Yeah,
anyway.
How do they work? Yeah. But once you've played it once, and we played it on easy that night.
Yep.
Just so that we could learn the mechanics.
Yes.
So we'll play on easy when we play it for the first time here.
Yeah. And we've...
and I really won. I couldn't believe it was the first time I won by a lot of points.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Remember. Oh, it was the happiness.
Yeah.
Because that gives you points.
Nice.
And it gives you points, like, I think each scoring phase, you get points for your happiness.
Okay.
And I had quite a bit, and I just kept getting further and further ahead.
Sweet.
Yeah, that made the game extra more exciting because I have actually been losing a lot of my games lately. So to win on a first play was kind of exciting.
Nice.
Yeah.
It was interesting. We had you posted a picture of that on our Instagram, and we had one of our viewers comment on it saying, "Vote." He guessed that it was Through the Ages.
Yeah.
But then he commented and said, "I've really been interested in Clash of Cultures instead of this one."
Do you know much about that?
And I was thinking about it, and I remember seeing that because Joel Eddy really likes Clash of Cultures. And he was talking about the expansion once, and I was like, we don't have any good Civ games.
Oh,
The ones with the great big tech trees.
That one.
Yeah. So I realized...
I vaguely remember.
But I realized what it was about Through the Ages that really grabbed my attention and makes me want to play it. And it's the fact that you have a set of cards, and every round, cards get revealed, and that's what's available.
Right. It's not one of those everything available games.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's a Civ game, and that.
And the mechanic is so many cards come out each round, and then if the first so many aren't bought, they get off the board.
Yeah, and you shuffle it down.
So you cycle through your deck a little faster.
Yeah.
So it becomes one of those decisions like, oh, that's there and it's cheap. It's not going to be there next round. But if I don't buy that thing up there, someone else could buy it.
Yeah.
Maybe I should buy it.
Yeah.
But those are really cheap. Maybe I can risk it, and maybe that will stay for next round. I'll just, it's one of those decisions. Like, yeah. I like that.
But that idea that you don't have to look at this massive tableau of cards or buildings or tiles and understand all of them before you can make a decision. You just look at what's available right now.
Right.
That's awesome. But as you're playing it more and more, you're learning them and what the synergies could be. So later on, after several plays, like, you only have to deal with the cards in front of you, but you can still plan on what's coming out.
Yeah.
That is my favorite way to learn a game, through playing and not having to learn it all at once.
Yeah. And when I know a game, that's my favorite way to play.
Yeah.
I don't generally tend to like the games where
everything's all out.
There's 100 things you could have, and you can pick from all of them right now.
Yeah, we don't like that at all.
It bogs it down for me.
I just find it, to me, it's not different each time.
No, you're right, and I was just going to say that, because then you can go with the same old boring strategy you went with last time.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
You could phrase that sentence in a different way, but that's what would happen with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it just kind of hit me. That's why I'm really, like, psyched to play this game.
Cool.
We just got a bunch of other games, but I mean, this is the game I really want to play.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So that was our our two big game nights.
Two big game nights.
And and hopefully we'll have some more soon.
Yeah.
That's what we've been playing.
Yeah. So that's probably good for this podcast.
Yeah, we're good.
We don't want to make these puppies too long.
Nope.
Short and sweet, because we're sweethearts.
Or rivals.
Sometimes.
Anyway, thanks for listening.
Yeah, we'll talk at you the next time. And if you want to find us at different stuff, we've got the Facebook and the Twitter and the Instagram and the YouTube.com.
And the Twitch.
/Sweethearts or Rivals. Oh yeah, and we do live playthroughs on Twitch too.
Yep.
Sweethearts or Rivals.
Right on.
That's us.
Laters.
Bye.